Good evening, everybody, and welcome in tonight as we have Division 1 here racing at the Temple of Speed, Monza itself. Hoping for a good one today. D2 yesterday was a pretty action-packed race, so hopefully we get the same sort of business in this one today, especially at the front end. Yesterday was pretty much non-stop between the front guys all throughout the race, so it would be really nice if we get some of that. And as it comes onto the screen, we have raining conditions here in qualifying, just the same as yesterday as well, so that's both qualifying sessions this week being in the wet. Yeah, and it's heavy as well, so let's see who has done their rain practice and got their rain setups and who hasn't. So as it can show around this track, if you haven't done your own work. So yeah, I wasn't expecting wet in 2 qualifying sessions this week in a row, but here we are, it's wet. So let's see how these guys get on. I'll just get my things loaded up on the screen. The track map and lap data, that's the interesting stuff. Everything else we can leave, and then we'll get rid of that at the bottom of the screen as well. So wait and see who's, it looks like it's going to be, is that a Red Bull, I think? Going to be the first one out on track, it is. So that's going to be either Cooper or Glitched. So we'll go down on board, and it is Glitched. So Glitched had a week off last week, injured his wrist, but nice to see him not out of action for too long and back with us this week. Bear with me a second, guys. I'm just gonna go in my audio and turn. I can hear that the other cars are a bit too loud, so just turn them down a little bit. It doesn't seem too bad now, but Glitched on his outlap. All the others now making their way out. We'll stay on board with Glitch being the first man, so we'll just let him finish his warm-up lap, and then we'll go back to him. Yeah, that's pretty much, sorry for hearing my kids in the background, pretty much everybody all bar Huff and Doe back out on the track now. Glitch now coming down to the Parabolica. It's got a new name, but I don't know what the new name is, so I'm going to call it Parabolica. I don't do names, for those of you that know, I do numbers better. So but Glitched here now crossing the line to begin his lap. Hopefully he's done enough in the preparation. Let's see how he gets into turn 1, one of the heaviest braking zones of this track. Seems to be okay on entry, and then through turn 2, nice hugs the inside apex, and then foot to the floor again now through the sweeping right-hander up to the second of the 2 chicanes on this circuit. So again, probably the second heaviest braking zone. And from the shot we have, looks okay, good on exit. Can be easy to go wide on that one, so kept it nice and tight. No, didn't seem to be struggling with grip putting the power back down either. And then round Lesmo 2, a little bit of a wobble out of Lesmo 2. And then down the back straight now on the run up to Ascari. Now this can be difficult, this section of corners in the wet stuff with the change of direction, but Glitch is looking pretty planted at the moment. Got a nice stable setup so far. And then down to the Parabolica. and then just being patient back on the throttle in these conditions, and then it's just a matter of going flat, taking it as tight as you can down to the line, and he does so and gets on the board with a 31.4 for the first time of the day. And we've got a Mercedes behind him. That's going to be Taboo, who's the next man to go, and he gets a 32.9, and then PW Jones following with a 33.4. So here they all come flying in now. We've got a Haas. Yep. It's both the Haas's. I don't know if they're, I think they're both on their push laps. So KFC up into P5, and then Snowbody, his teammate, just edging in by 3/10 up into P4, and then Catello, no, that was another Mercedes. We've got a Red Bull come in. That's Cooper Fan with a 32.4, taking that P5 off of Snowbody. And then Edward now is on the run down into the final corner for his first lap. See what he can do. He's one of our reserves here today, so see how he gets on. First race in, and it gives him the wet stuff in the qualifying, and he goes up to P6 with 32.5. Not too bad for a banker. You can obviously, once you've got a time on the board, you can then start pushing that limit a little bit more in your next laps, and then as the track they create a drier line throughout the qualifying. Expect to see these times come down a little bit, so it just leaves Huff and Doback now, and there he goes up into P5. Not a bad lap there from Huff for his first one. 32.382. So everybody getting times on the board nice and early, and we've just seen somebody else jump. I think that was, oh, it was just seen Out jump up into P3 with 31.5, so the time's already starting to chop down for some of these guys from their first lap. Let's go back to the Haas. It's going to be Nobody Cares now coming back across the line. Doesn't get any sort of improvement. If he was pushing, go to his teammate who's not far behind. Coming around the final corner now. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there. If he's on a push, that's going to cost him because he went out a bit wide. But he could also be starting a lap and then going out there to try and get a longer run up to the line. With some of these doing double laps here, it makes it a little bit harder to know whether they're on, and then the rain, so the lights constantly flashing, makes it just that little bit harder to know who's exactly pushing and who's not. And Edward retires from the session. That was in the pit lane, so not too sure what that one's for, but we got the V-carb of Huff and Doback coming through again. I'd imagine I don't think he is on a push because he just finished the push. He might be doing a double push. Should have the battery for it with it being wet. You can't use the boost mode, I think. No, it still gives you, it does. There was that glitch that some people couldn't use it, not that they've got it with the hot lap. So as you can see, with any of you wondering why there's only 14, you know, we're in our summer period here in the UK and quite a few people away doing things, so just one of those things this week, but nothing too bad. There's still 14 of them here that can hopefully bring us some good racing today. And Apicati, Taboo's the other Mercedes. Apicati now goes up into pole with 30.8, so 5/10, almost 5/10 clear of Glitch 10. Go back to Glitch 10 and see where he is. He's on the run down. I don't think he's on a push lap because he's out there. Wasn't on the where you would normally be for the line. No, he's invalidated. See there on the map. So Steel saying time's going to be faster than D2 because it isn't wet. Quite a few people did use the inters. There was only a couple of people that started on the wet. Trying to see who's doing what here. Stay on board with Cooper fan. He's got a McLaren just ahead of him that gets out the way for him, so I think Cooper is on a push here. Let's see if he can get some improvement on his current 31.9. So very close between Cooper and KFC, only a 100th in it. And Cooper does get an improvement, goes up into pole by a fair margin with a 130.2. Apologies if you heard that then. My daughter was not happy in the background with something, but hopefully the mic's not picking that up too much. Oh, let's have a look. This is a V. I can see a V carb. Is it going to be Huff? It is Huff on the run round to the Parabolica. See if Huff can get some improvement on his current 32.3 down to the line, and he does improve up into P6, 31.4. So almost a second improvement for him there. So the track is definitely starting to get quicker, as we see now 5 drivers in the 30s. I'm going to go to the McLaren of MGA. He's now on his run to the final corner. See what time he can put on the board, improvement wise. And he did jump up, so I think that was P7th, and then he's just dropped down to P8, 31.1, so just shy of the 30s. 7 people in the 30s now, so yeah, this track is definitely ramping up in these later stages of qualifying. Glitched on his out lap. We'll go back to him. He's just starting his lap now. Hopefully he'll be wanting to get some decent improvement on his current 31.3 that he has, as now that's dropped him back to P10 as it stands. So I expect Glitched, even though he may not have a wrist that's 100%, I still expect to see, I'll probably, yeah, in the top 5 maybe. He's definitely one of the people that can push up there. As Out has just taken the pole from Cooper fan, 30.1. A 10th quicker than Cooper. It looks like we may be breaking the 29s by the end of this qualifying. Cooper now retakes that pole position off of Out with a 30 flat, so we're definitely pushing for them 29s now. So looking a decent lap from Glitch 10. There you go, there's the 29.8 from Melvis. Yep. I'm probably butchering his name there, but Malvis, we'll go with that, Malvis. And Glitched goes back up to pole. As I said, I even with a wrist that may not be 100%, I don't know how his healing with it is gone. It may be back to 100%, but he's definitely putting the time there. 10th quicker than Malvis. We've got no, it's a Williams, one colour. PWs goes into the pit. We've got a Haas approaching the final corner. That's Nobody Cares. Snowbody knew. Oh, a little bit of a slide there from Snowbody, trying to get back on the power out of the final corner, and yet he backed straight out of that lap and goes into the pit. We're on board with Taboo. See that drying line is drying. Can't get the words out. Line is drying quite a fair bit now. You see that darker patch on most of the track. So these tyres on this final run are going to be much more grippy than what they've had so far. As long as they stick to that line, that is, obviously. You know, if they go into the wet stuff, then that's going to compromise it. Quite a few people in the pits now making their preparations for that final run. Richland Cooper, the two Red Bulls, standing pretty strong at the moment at P1 and P3 as it stands. PW comes in the chat going, I'm quick. Hey, you're not far off of the 31. That was your earlier on in the qualifying as well, so I'd expect you to have a bit better luck, maybe a bit more grip on your next run. Looked like a little bit of a wiggle from Taboo there out the final corner, but he makes a run to the line, improves it. Oh, okay, got a really nice improvement straight up into P1 there, is just outdoing Bosmos by 0.2 for the track. It's definitely like it's improved a bit quicker than I expected it to, or I thought it was going to, should I say. They were just edging low 30s, and now they're pushing for the 28. Or dropping, you know, towards the 28. Malvis, it's not a name I recognise. Might be his debut race this week, or it's just a name change. There's the two reserves today, two of them. There's Edward, who's retired, and then Jokes in P7. So somebody let me know if I'm wrong. I think it might be Malvis' debut race this week. Let's see where Alp is. So Alp's on a lap going round up to the chicane, turn 4 and 5. Bosmos is warming his tyres. I think it's going to be... We've got Mercedes, Apocati's there. PW is coming through Ascari. The car's getting out the way for him to see if he gets the improvement he's looking for. Looked okay around the final corner for him. Run down to the line, and he does improve up into P8, and Alp retakes that pole shortly behind him with 29.125. As Ricky confirms it is Malvis's debut. Let's try and catch the next person coming across the line. It's going to be Snowbody, who's invalidated. And we've got a Red Bull behind him. Sorry for the flicking. No, it's not a Red Bull. There'll be a V card. Oh, no. Malvis is also invalidated. So... we'll go to Catello. I think it's Catello behind him. See if Catello can get himself any higher up the board. And Catello goes up into P3. 29.5. Good lap from Catello there, getting him from P13 up into P3. Now everybody else comes through. We've got Taboo's just come across the line. Now it's going to be Huff. Huff goes up into P3 with a 29.5. Apicati's got a McLaren very close behind him. We've got the Williams, that's PW. Cooper is also near PW. We've got two Rebels together here. See if we can get an improvement. Oh, Cooper fan with a 28.5. I think he was getting a bit of help from his teammate there. And it's played out perfectly for him. Even though we have collisions off, I think the toe is still a thing. So Cooper getting pole by half of a second. It's a great lap from Cooper. That's all of them in one screen. Makes life a little bit easier getting my photo. Sorry about that, it was my daughter again in the background. She's on one. Normally they're quiet when I do my commentating, but she's choosing today that she doesn't want to listen to the be a bit quiet a bit. So, yeah, Cooper getting it by half of a second. Pretty tight between everybody else in the quali. And I bet the guys are helping for a dry track in the race. Obviously, you can see it's a dry track at the moment. But for those of you, anybody in the stream that doesn't know, we do a lobby reset. So everybody will be retiring this one. Then we'll go back into the lobby, reset the grid. And we could come into the race and it's wet for them again, so we'll see what the game decides it wants to throw at these guys very shortly when it comes to the actual race, as we see them all doing their thing, the Le Bosch moment, as Mr. Corey Brooks in our server likes to call it. As everybody goes Bosch into the wall and tries to get their car to retire. And Glitched still leading that leading the championship of who's going to retire last. He likes to be the last person to pull the plug, this guy. So, yeah, we'll have a little quiet moment from me. A second while I just, you'll see it all on screen anyway, while I get the grid in order. There's no grid penalties, grid drops or anything to do this week, so people will start where they qualified. That's always good to see and good for the guys involved. Because nobody really, likes to get a penalty, but if you've done something worthy of it, then that's on you. Apologies that the game's I can let me switch it a little minute while we load back in the lobby. The game sound is a bit loud. Right, how are we there? I think that should do it. I've just dropped the game sound by a notch and then upped my voice by a notch. So might need to not need to up my voice. Yeah, that should be right. That should be fine there. Happy days. Right, so a little quiet moment from me. Just why I get this grid sorted. I think that's the only setting I need to change there. No, don't want it full. I want it off. Yeah, I'll be back with you guys in literally a minute or two. So, as you can see, we are ready to go. All the green ticks are lighting up. The countdown has begun. And we can get these 27 laps of Monza on the go for you guys. Let me know in the chat, anybody that wants to, give me your winner prediction. We'll see, we had Cooper have quite a good pole lap there, but, you know, conditions were wet. Let's see what they are in the race. It's going to be nice and dry for them, so the drivers will be happy with that one. So Ricciardo in the chat goes Cooper first, Milvis glitch. Okay. Malvis qualified P10, so yeah, he'll make a very good race if he was to get second place. Not saying it's not possible, but he needs a very good race to do it. I think for me, yeah, I would go with maybe Glitched winning, or maybe even Taboo could be a contender for it in P4, starting in P4. Right. Hopefully these guys can get through turn 1 nice and tidy. As we all know, Monza turn 1, the nature of it being a tight chicane, it's a difficult one to navigate sometimes when you have so many cars around you at the start of the race, but everybody plays ball and just plays it safe in a sense to get through turn 1 and 2 initially, and then the race is on from that point. One of the longest runs as well down into turn 1 at this track. Got a decent run from the start line down there, so you do come into it at some speed, other than the likes of Belgium that we had at round 1. You know, that's a really short run. You just get going on the power, and then you sort of almost immediately then coming off of it. It's only a short burst of the power, but there is the beeping noise we've been waiting for. That is the sign that the race is about to begin. So we shall get trackside. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. The cars are screaming, and we are off the line. We are racing, and it looks to be a good start from Cooper. He immediately comes over a little bit to cover it off. Glitch gets up into P2, maybe even fighting Cooper forward. We go 3 wide into turn 1, and I think it is Cooper that has the inside on the exit, but no, it was Glitch, but no, it was Cooper, sorry. Cooper had the inside and got the better exit on his teammate. Glitch getting ahead of out through turn 1 and 2. Good start, very good start from Glitch. There's now both the Red Bulls controlling the pace of this race at the moment. And you can see behind, Taboo is also already trying to have a look out going into Nesmo 1. Thinks better of it yet. Early days, don't want to throw anything down too drastic at the moment. You've got a long race ahead. We can see the McLaren behind battling with Huff and Doback. He's in a V-carb sandwich at the moment. It looks to be a good getaway from pretty much all the pack. Didn't see any bits of carbon fibre in turn 1 or 2 that I noticed, so hopefully everybody's got through unscathed, and it's race forward, race on from this point for everybody. No wings need changing. We complete the first lap there. Cooper still in the lead, but now Glitched Head and his teammate is going to have a look. Try and pass him down into turn 1 is going to make it hard for Taboo, who's got ahead of out behind. Almost 3 wide on the exit between Taboo, out, and I think it was Jokes, but then Huff and Doback has just got ahead from Jokes on the inside. Just stay with these guys a little bit. You can see the McLaren there battling with Malvis. I'm butchering his name, I know I am. But Malvis, and getting through on Jokes there. Jokes losing out 2 positions in them 2 corners, just needs to gather himself up and not let it get to him at this point. Go back to the front, guys. Glitch now starting to break a little bit of a gap. Enough of a gap to not have to worry about any sort of attack from Cooper just yet. We can see the V-carbs going side by side in the background. That's Marvis getting it through on Huff and Doback. I wonder if these two are going to work together. As Huff looks down on the inside to retake that position, and that's allowing the McLaren to get up close behind them. Under braking, Marvis is flying in, a little bit of contact with Huff and Doback, but nothing too serious. Gets away with that one, definitely a lot later on the brakes. And then we've got Bosmos and Malvis now battling behind, and then Jokes is going to get involved in this. Nice move there from Bosmos on Huff and Doback into the second chicane. Oh, they've got a spinner. That is Huff and Doback out of Lesmo 2. Gone straight down to the back of the pack. I wonder if we got any damage from it. We will stay with these guys at the moment. We've got 2 Ferraris, the Catello and AMS Edward. Edward starting in last, now up into 9th. So Nobody Cares has left the session. Bear with me, I'll quickly grab him an invite. Apologies, guys. There we go, nice and quick. Hopefully he can get back in pretty swiftly as well, so he doesn't lose out too much. But Cooper has now lost the position to Taboo while we were watching that little battle going on behind. But Cooper, is he struggling already? Like, can't see any damage on him. But he's definitely dropped away a little bit from that opening lap. Now with Taboo 1.1 second behind Glitch 10. Jokes getting up close. I'm not going to go for the move yet. Oh, a bit of contact from the Aston Martin there. He's lost the right side over his wing. We saw that on that camera there, just going into the second chicane, I think. I'm not sure, was it on the back of Cooper or... I think it was. But that's going to need a change, as losing any sort of wing around this track, it is just a backwards game from that point. This track it's got plenty of straights, so not where you think that you wouldn't have to worry about the wing too much, but it doesn't half bite you in the corners. He's heard Brian in the chat said Looney Tunes spin about the Huff and Doback spin, and there's Alp going in for that wing. That promotes Cosmos up into P4, where he's going to end up back with Huff and Doback when he comes out. It's going to be a long stretch for him to take the hards to the end from this point. Taboo Dwarf is starting to close that gap down a little bit on Glitch 10. Really close that gap down. He's right up behind him now. I wonder if Glitch has just deployed a bit too much of his battery in them at the first couple of laps, and it's left him a bit short now. But Cooper also using the toe, and we have a yellow flag that's for Nobody Cares. Well, I think Cooper has been using the toe. That was toe and Cooper in one word there. Cooper is a new word. To sort of drag him back along, because he had that little bit where he fell back from Glitch, but now the front three all in within 1 second of each other, and we have MGA Jokes getting ahead of Bosmos there, we've seen, on the run down to the Parabolica. some nice battling going on between the guys in like sort of the midfield area. AMS Edward getting through on Cotello down into turn 1. Has the move done in plenty of time to get himself back in front of him and take the racing line before they got under braking at turn 1. Very close between most of the pack from P4 down. Apicati got through on KFC there. Try to keep with the gap. Go back with Bosmos, who's looking very close to Malvis, for possibly a move maybe down here into Ascari. I don't know if he'll go for it yet. If you're going to go for it, you want to be committed that you're going to get it done way before braking. So it's not really a corner you want to be side by side at. You want to try and carry as much speed as you can into Ascari, and being side by side, that isn't too easy. We've got KFC now getting close to Apicati down the final straight into the Parabolica and gets the move done. Nice move there from KFC. But I wonder if burning his battery down there is now going to compromise him down this straight for Apicati to retake that place. It looks like he's going to go for it. No. Good defending from KFC. He put his car in the middle of the track there, said, yeah, Apicati, you choose which side you want to go, and Apicati wasn't ready to choose one at that point. So back to the lead now. Is watching that battle again. We've seen a switch for the lead. Taboo has got himself ahead of Glitched at the moment. Glitched very close behind. So I think the battle is now well and truly on between these guys. Starting to edge away from Cooper a little bit. But Cooper doing well to keep himself in the podium position. As we see a spinner in the background, I think that is Bosmos. That was Bosmos. Wing and everything looks to be okay. As I said, Cooper was backing off. Rich just got back ahead into the Parabolica, and I think that little battle has allowed Cooper to get right back on the back. So we're going to stay with these guys for a minute, because I missed that last move, and the battle is well and truly on between these guys. And it looks like the Red Bulls might have to do a bit of working together here if they're going to keep Taboo behind. Taboo is now having a look on Glitched up into turn 4, but can't quite get alongside enough. So has to yield it for now, drop back in behind. AMS Edward from last position up into P5 currently. So he's having a good run in so far. Just needs to close that 2-second gap he has now to P4. But while these guys have been battling at the front, it's going to be burning their tyres out. And now MGA Joe has come into the mix. 3 has become 4 at the front here for the battle. Looks like Taboo's burning a bit of the battery there to try and get to Glitch, but not going to get enough for a move. He's definitely sticking with him, and he's pushing Glitch, making Glitch have to work for it at the moment. so far. Seems to have calmed down a little bit. They must be in a bit of the management stage. Edward and Malvis are now battling behind. So that's just slowing Edward down a little bit, as that gap's now gone from 2 seconds to 3.5. You see MGA now looking like he's going to shape one up on Cooper. Can't get it done down the straight, so he's going to have to wait for now. Edward's dropping back. He's in the pit. I didn't even see the little pit icon. It was blending in with something for me. Like, it wasn't standing out at first. No, I thought he had a moment, but he's in the pit, so he's all good. And Jokes gets through. What a move there is there. If he can keep that, he does keep it. Look, just okay. That caught me off there. Jokes just jumped straight up into P1. We have a yellow flag. It's for a spinning pass. I think that's KFC bloke. Got himself back up and running though. Stay on board with these guys at the front, because it is now starting to fire up between these guys. The Jokes has gone from P4 to P1 very quickly there. He's on the hard tyre, so the medium tyres for the cars behind must really be falling off now. And he's on the superior tyre at this point, as we've got side by side with Taboo and Glitch. Taboo getting through on Glitch into the Parabolica. I'm going to have to find out what the new name is for that, because I keep calling it Parabolica and I know it's wrong. As Malvis picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he decides that he's going to call it a day. Did Snowbody manage to rejoin? There's now Glitch has fallen back behind Cooper, we just seen there. Glitch really beginning to struggle. I wonder if it's battery or tyres. Maybe a bit of both. Well, my mic sounds a bit funny. I don't know why. Apologies for little squeaks on the mic. I don't know what's going on with it there. I don't normally do that. So, at the moment, MGA on the hards, he'll be wanting to take them to at least 15, 16 if he can. Just wonder if with catching everybody up, he may have taken too much out of them, but at the moment, he seems to be okay. He's pushing a gap a little bit on Taboo. That's Cooper fan in the pit. We're just at a stage now where all the stops are coming in, so the pack is just split a little bit in places until others make their stops and they all get back into place. And you see Cooper just come out with Edward right on his tail. Love this shot for Ascari. Helicopter shot just really shows the change of direction that and the speed that you go through there. As we see Taboo now getting up really close to the back of the McLaren. And there goes Taboo for his stop. So that frees up Jokes a little bit for the time being. Glitch being a second behind. Hasn't got to worry too much just yet about an attack if Glitch has got one last hurrah in him on these tyres. There goes Cooper getting through on Edward into turn 1. And then Taboo just coming out in front of Cooper. But Taboo will be happy with that one, knowing that Cooper's one of the guys that he's fighting with to come back out of the pits ahead of him. It's like Huff is getting close to PW here. We've got no nose on the Aston Martin. Oh, and no nose on Huff and Dobak. The lovely no nose glitch of people, glitch that is in the game, where when they get a new wing or something, it just bugs it out and doesn't put the nose back on. It gives them the wing, but says, yeah, you can have the wing, but you're not having the nose cone. As now we see Glitch making his stop. See where he comes out compared to his teammate, Cooper Fan. And Taboo, so I think it's going to be very close. So we hear them coming, there they go. And Edwards got ahead of Glitch at that point as well, so with Glitch just going a little bit longer has cost him a little bit, but he will have the slightly better tyre come towards the end of the race. And we can see AMS Edward now shaping one up on Cooper Fan. Not able to get it done. Cooper Fan defending it well. We've still got 4 cars really close to each other, even after a stop. Patello glitched Edwards and Cooper, and Edward there gets the move done on Cooper into Ascari. Cooper now under pressure from his teammate Glitch, then behind Glitch. Might look for both of them here. We're going to go 4 wide into the Parabolica. Oh, this is, yeah, keep it tidy, guys. Nicely done. That's a scary moment. Bad enough being 3 wide. We're going to go 4 wide again here. Look at this. This is great. Glitch and Cooper both through on the Ferraris. Glitch getting ahead of Cooper now into turn 4. So this is, I'd say, was that Taboo, our net leader, once Apicati and Joe make their stop. I don't think they've stopped yet. No, they're the only 2. Yeah, there's the gap should have told me that. Yeah, they're the only 2 who haven't stopped yet. And you almost had a 3 wide move then into the final corner. 3 wide moment, sorry, not move, 3 wide moment. Now Taboo looking down the inside of turn 1 on Glitched. Side by side, Glitch going to have the inside of turn 2 though, and then it's going to allow him to have the better exit. So nicely defended there from Glitch, but Taboo's pushing again to try and get it done on the run down to turn 4. As that's a yellow flag, it's out, retiring in the pit lane. Starting in P2, I think that was out, and not been the race to remember for him by the looks of things. But lovely battling between these guys, just like yesterday. There's plenty of action to keep an eye on. Ferraris are hanging in there as well, so don't count them out yet. They could just be biding their time. Taboo likes to get close on this run down to turn 4, but he's not going to be able to launch any sort of attack this time round. I definitely need to turn my game sound down for next time. It is a little bit too loud. As there is Apicati making his pit stop now, and only 16 seconds to glitch behind. And we've got Taboo having to take the inside, go a bit defensive there into the final corner, as Cooper was looking to get past. And now Edward is coming up close. Just managed to get it stopped there. He had a little look. But these guys keeping it like racing really well. Nobody's throwing anything silly at this point, which is always good to see. Yeah, I think these guys now, though, the fight is going to be for the next 9 laps. These guys are going to be on it. They've been with each other all race. Just like D2 yesterday, the front guys were, I mean, it was only the 2 for most of the second stint, but we've got 4 of them, 5 of them, because Catello's right there. So 5 of them all in a place here to fight for the win. See if we get a move from Taboo into turn 1. I don't think we are. He's getting up very close to glitch, but not enough to launch a move yet. Because that's a McLaren. MGA has joined back in now, so we've got 6 cars here. Here we go. Oh, glitch having to go defensive. There's a little lock up. Oh, snap from Taboo. Manages to keep it under control. Good save. That could have been disastrous at that point. Very easy to have the snap and end up on the left in the wall. MGA is flying up right now. He's going to make a move on Catello now. The run down into the final corner. Move easily done. So could MGA be the thorn or the salt in the wound? However you want to put it, for the battle that's going on ahead of him. Could he come and snatch it come the end of this race? He's definitely showing pace at the moment. Got Taboo having a little look. Oh, that's Cooper having a look as well. Taboo having to sort of try and attack and defend at the same time, but that's compromised in there. He's had little squiggle again in the chicane, and that's allowed Cooper to get through. Cooper's also gone deep, and that allows Taboo to get back through in Lesmo 1. So both the Red Bull of Cooper and Taboo having a slight little moment that compromised them. They compromised Taboo first and allowed Cooper through, and then the corner after, Cooper compromised himself going a bit deep, and that allowed Taboo to retake that position. Getting to that point now, they're seeing the laps counting down. There's, you know, they're like, I've got to try and do something. Apicati's starting to get a bit close now as well. See him in the background behind the Ferraris. MGA through on Cooper. The MGA showing some real pace. I mean, he is on the mediums where the other guys are on the hard tyre. So let's just see how long these mediums can give him the benefit over these guys. In the chat says doing a good job, lanky lad. Yeah, it's not the easiest doing comms on your own, but I don't mind it too much. Yeah, it's not too bad, especially when you've got plenty of action like this. It makes that a hell of a lot easier for you. So the battle now is on for the win between at least 5 drivers here. Glitch, Taboo, Jokes, Cooper, AMS Edward. All in enough, all close enough to snatch it from anybody. Oh, a little bit of contact there from Glitch and Taboo. Nothing too serious. Glitch was opening back up the corner. Taboo was sort of going for a move and then backing out a bit. Didn't cost him, didn't see no damage, so brush that one off and go again, Taboo. We have a yellow in sector 3. That's where these guys are now coming up to. I think, oh, that is a spinning Haas of Huff. No, Huff. I'm reading the name above. Nobody cares. Snowbody is pretty new to no assists. Obviously here in Division 1 you can have the racing line, but your traction control is off and ABS is off. And here goes MGA on Taboo down into turn 1. He's having to take the outside. Taboo defending it on the inside, able to keep it for now. Is MGA going to have the better traction out of the corner? It seems to be pretty even between them two guys at the moment, but he's going to have a little switch to the inside, which then puts him on the outside of turn 4. Glitch having a lock up in front. Oh, a little bit of contact from Glitch on Taboo. That makes Taboo have a bit of a slide and drops Taboo back to P5. I think that was just a matter of, I think both of them locked up. I don't think there was anything untoward there. I think it was just a bit of a mistake from both sides. That puts MGA now P2 in a Red Bull sandwich, looking at the lead ahead of him. Squeaking. I apologise for that, guys. I'm gonna have to. It doesn't normally do it. I don't know why it's doing it on the stream. Might just be a setting or something I have to tone down on my headset. But the move around the outside here now from Jokes on glitch, from being on the mediums, he's got the better grip, able to get it done around the outside, puts on the inside of turn 2, and that is job done for the moment. Now can he put these tyres to the limit, because they're going to start not feeling too great for him, I'd imagine, soon. So he's got 3 laps. He's got to try and defend the hards behind, which I would like to say come the last lap or so would be the better tyre. Let's just have a little look at the tyre age. Oh, he's on 5 lap mediums. He's okay. He's I thought he was on like 8 or 9. Like. So he may be okay. We'll have to see. I think that's KFC bloke has just had a spin. Or is it Nobody Cares? I'm not too sure, but don't want to leave this battle at the moment between these guys at the front. As MGA now having to go defensive into turn 1, he should have the better grip on the mediums, and he definitely does under braking, so he's not too much of a problem for him to defend on glitch at the moment. But again, just like I can't remember who it was now, but just like glitched earlier on, being put under the pressure and having to work for it, Jokes was having to at that point, and you've got a little battle going on between Taboo and AMS Edwards there. Taboo getting through, I think that was. Coming to the end of lap 5, ready to begin the penultimate lap. And it is still all to play for between the top 5 here in this race. Been very close with these guys for this second stint. This race has flown by for me. Like it has been so much going on. This seems like it's gone really quick. Like already come on the penultimate lap. Like, where's the race gone? Even being that little bit short on numbers this week with people, you know, holiday season, people away on holiday and that, which it happens. You know, people, it's that time of year. It's the summer, but they've still not disappointed us with the race in action today. I think this win might just be slipping away from glitch. We'll have to see who's got the most battery for this last lap. MGA is going to have the slightly better grip, being on fairly. I mean, the mediums would start falling away anytime from now, depending on how aggressively you've driven them. And he's had to do pretty aggressive. As you see him there taking a defensive line nice and early down into turn 1. He's making sure these Red Bulls can't get a move on him yet. Jokes being a reserve, and I think also his debut could be on for the win here. He's got 3/4 of a lap now, coming up to that point around from here. 3/4 of a lap left to claim it. He's got 2 Red Bulls sniffing very closely behind though. The Red Bulls have had a good day, even if they finish where they are. Cooper starting on pole, and he dropped back at the start a little bit, but it's still a good haul of points for both the Red Bulls there in P2 and 3. And Glitch is going to go for it down the back straight. He's got the battery at the moment. I flipped to the wrong car. He's got the battery. Oh, the McLaren might lose out to both Red Bulls. No, a little bit of contact there. He's going to go with Cooper trying to get through on the outside, but Glitch snatches it down that final straight. Well done to Glitch there. Great win from Glitch. MGA jokes. He should still be very, very happy with a P2 today. Debut race. Started down in P5 and finishing on the podium in P2, almost getting the win, but his battery, I think, is just what let him down towards the end of the lap. But still, he can be happy with that. Cooper finishing in P3, Taboo ending up finishing in P4, AMS Edward P5, Apicati P6, Osmos in P7, PW Jones finishing P8. So even though he was a bit worried on his pace in qualifying, he's finished in the points. That's a win. Catello in P9, KFC Bloke in P10, Hoffendobach P11, and then Nobody Cares. Still learning that no traction side of things, but yeah, finishing in P12. He's got to the finish line. That's got to be an achievement for him. He's got the pace in him. He just needs to iron out the spins a little bit, but that will all come with practice. And that will conclude our D1 race here in the Temple of Speed this week. And what 2 races we have had. Very good week of racing this week, I must say. A lot of people are a bit skeptical on the battery with these regulations around this track, but I don't think it ended up too bad for most of them. It was pretty good. It's definitely good from a spectator's point of view, that's for sure. So again, a quick rundown of your finishing order. It was Glitch 10 in P1, MGA Jokes P2, and Cooper Fan taking the final podium position in P3. Then it is Taboo, AMS Edward, Apicati, Bosmos, PW Jones, and Catello, and then KFC Bloke rounding out your top 10. Hoffendobach in 11th, Nobody Cares 12th, and then PSR, Alp, and Mylvis being the only 2 retirees today. As Ashton puts in the chat, slow body. Oh, I get. Yeah, I was like that when I first started No Traction. We'll let him off a little bit. It comes with the practice. I'm now at that point where I put the traction control back on and I can't do it. It's weird. But yeah, that concludes our racing here this week in OTLR, and we have had 2 great races to watch this week, and I think that gives us, I mean, being round 3, we've got a very exciting season ahead of us for the remainder 9. Singapore next week. I can't unfortunately do any interviews, guys, as the only person I would be able to interview off the podium is Cooper, because Xbox is that good. It doesn't let you broadcast Discord chat, or last time that we tried it, it didn't. Maybe we'll have to test that again at some point. But yeah, so thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. It flew by for me. It was that much going on, especially between them guys at the front. And I hope you can all join us again next week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. for Division 2 as we go to Singapore. But for now, ciao ciao.